Hello, my dear friends. This is rabbiaharon coming to you today from the holy city of Jerusalem, Israel. Power. Everybody knows the word. Everybody has a feeling for the word. What is it? How do you get it? How do you keep it? What age does it come into your life? There's all sorts of questions about power. I want to give you a little story to get things started off here. It's a story about a man who's walking down the street. He's just minding his own business, and he's walking down the street, and all of a sudden, somebody coming past him from the other direction goes, BAM! Hits him right in the face. Almost knocks the guy out. And then walks on before the guy can get up and come after him. And the guy's thinking, what did I do? Why is this coming to me? What is the problem with it? Why did I have to get hit? So let's just change the scenario just a little bit from the street to a boxing ring. Now we're in the boxing ring. Same guy's in there, and the guy across the way is beating up on him, something terrible. And then, it's when he gets done with him, another guy gets into the ring, and every time he ducks, every time he moves, the guy hits him with his left hook. Every time. Like he knows he's going to do this. And he hits him, and he hits him, and he hits him, and he hits him, and he hits him. Difference here. Instead of wanting to go after the guy and beat him up, the guy's a boxer, and he's going to hug his coach. Why? Because his coach noticed something when he was sparring with the other guy. He noticed every time this guy made this particular move, he left himself wide open to be clobbered. So the guy who gets hit is very, very grateful to his coach for the fact that he told him, this is what you need to be careful of. Would you rather be hit by your coach in a practice match than by the opponent in a for real match? Of course you would. It's the same scenario. Somebody being hit inexplicably because we don't know all the rest of it goes into the story, and that's where our problem is, my friends. We don't always know what is the rest of the story. So we have to learn, and we have to be patient, and we have to get things. How do we get to power? Well, some people get to it very simply at a very early age. Avram, at the age of 3, decided, you're going to love this one, that statues are not gods. There's only one God. And you can't see him, and you can't touch him, and you can't get too close to him. You can't see him in your life all the time. But he knew he was there, so much so that he destroyed all the idols that his father had built and basically blamed it on the biggest one that was there, which his father said, that's ridiculous. And he got it. He got the point. 3 years old, Avraham. Rivka, Imenu, the second of the matriarchs. Rivka Imenu at the age of 3. Again, at the age of 3. She's out there getting water for her flock, and she becomes noticed in the eye of Eliezer. So Eliezer asked her to come with him, and this little girl is asked by her family, you're going to love this. The family asked, do you want to go? Now, I want you to just think for a minute about the people you knew today. How many of them would be comfortable with their 3-year-old going off with a guy who they just met the day before to go get married? And it's not like you could call and say, did you get there okay? No, yeah, okay. You couldn't send a UPS letter to them. You couldn't check. They were gone, and they were gone. And you just knew hopefully you knew about where they were going. But this is at the age of 3. Okay, David HaMelech. Age of 3. His father sent him out to watch the flocks because he thought he was an illegitimate son, which he was not. But he thought he might be, and he figured, well, this would take care of him. The animals would most surely eat him up. But they didn't. He eats the animals up. And he does this again at the age of 3. Could you or I have done this at the age of 3? Probably not, because we have too many distractions in our life that they didn't have. They didn't have iPhones. They didn't have computers. They didn't have all the distractions that we have today. It make it very difficult for us to focus. They, on the other hand, were extremely focused. They were focused on these things, and because of that, at a very early age, they came out, and they were actually quite impressive as children. So when can it come? It can come anytime. How do we know we can make it come? Well, the answer is really quite simple. We have to want it. We have to want it. Do you know there's a template in Torah? And when I say it's a template, that means it's something that's been done early in Torah, Happens again, again, and again, and again, and again. One of the first templates in Torah was Hashem telling Adam he had to pray for rain so that the crops would grow. Why? Hashem certainly could have made it rain all by himself. He could have made the rain come down, everything would have grown, Adam would have been happy, sipping over their pina coladas, and no big problems. That's not how it's supposed to be. How it's supposed to be is that we do the start and Hashem does the finish. We water the crops, Hashem brings the crops to us. It's our responsibility to get the ball rolling. And it's this way, my friends, I'm sorry to tell you if you don't know this yet, for pretty much everything in life. Things come, things go. Why is this not coming to me? Why am I not getting this? Why is this opportunity passing me by when I've been trying so hard for so many days, weeks, months, years, fill in the blank, to get this thing to come my way? Well, the fact is, we're probably not ready for it. You see, we have somebody who watches out for us. They call him HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We call him God. He's up there looking down. And we, his children, all 7.5 billion of us, he watches out for each and every one of us all the time. How can he do that all the time, all these people? Because he's Hashem, he's not us. He can do what we can't do. He can know what we can't know. And because of all this, he knows everything. He does everything. And he can see whether we're ready for something or not ready for something. Now, here's something you should know about it, and this is pointed out in Zohar, and you should know this. Typically, when you're going through a real rough patch, something that is really difficult to get through, and you're trying to get to a certain point, and you're just not making it to that point, the chances are Hashem knows that something big is coming up, and he's trying to prepare us for it. Is he being mean to us? We might think so, from what we know. From our limited knowledge, our limited perspective. He doesn't have that limitation. He knows everything. So when he makes a decision, chances are, whatever his decision is quite a bit more informed than ours is. So we have to take that carefully. So if we're waiting for something, chances are there's two things. One thing is we really messed up badly. And we can find this out by doing a tikkun nefesh. Go back and start checking. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Do we do the bad things? Do we do the good things? Do we not do enough of the good things? Do we do too many of the bad things? Whatever it is, we need to get on that. That's possible. And if we get to that, you get that done, and we cannot figure it out, the chances are something great is coming our way. And what we're going through is to toughen us up, to prepare us, to give us more knowledge, to give us more background, to give us more experience, to give us whatever it is that Hashem feels we need in order to be able to do what he wants us to do, so we can do it properly and it can come out to the best possible results. Oh, my friends, that's power. I mean, let's face it, where does power come from? Power comes from the creator of the universe. Is there anything more powerful than the power that created the universe? I don't think there is. And how were we made? He blew into our nostrils. He blew his soul into us. What is that soul? That soul is just a little tiny piece of Hashem. You have it. I have it, I hope. Most of the people we know have it. Everybody we know has it. They just don't always recognize it. And the reason they don't always recognize it is because it's quite often hidden. It's hidden in the form of something else. So we don't see exactly what it is. So again, when we talked about last week, we have to start removing the klipot. We have to start taking away the things that stand between us and that, whatever they may be. And that's how we start to get close to Hashem. And when we get closer to Hashem, when we do what it is he wants us to do, then all bets are off. He can just say, my child, you did what I was wanting you to do. I'm so happy you did. And because you've done that, now what you wanted is coming to you with very little effort. Understand that most of the things we have to do with Hashem require very little effort on our part. The effort is required at the beginning, a little bit. There are rabbiim who will tell you, you do the first 5%, and Hashem is more than happy to drag you through the other 95%. Is it true? Have you ever tried it? Well, I think it's worth a try because this is what we need to find out. We're all looking for Mashiach to come. And we've talked about this before. What are we doing for Mashiach to come? Because we have to do our part. We have to pray for the rain. We have to go with Eliezer to a place we never heard of before. We have to break our father's idols. We have to do things we've never, ever considered doing in our lives before, because this is what was required for us to move forward and to do the things we need to do. And what it helps us to do our own personal redemption. And if we do our personal redemption, we now have time on our hands, so we can help those around us to do their own personal redemptions. And it's like a seesaw. It goes up and down. And you'll see what happens. If there are more people who are doing their personal redemption than are not doing it, you wake up one day and Hashem will simply be there. Because you did what you were supposed to do. I did what I was supposed to do. All of us, as many of us as possible, did what we were supposed to do. We started the ball rolling so Hashem could bring Mashiach. So what would happen then at this point is we get our personal redemption, which leads to a final redemption, which brings us all to a place where we get the coming of Mashiach. Tzidkenu, and the third bit of Mikdash b'meirav yameinu. My friends, have an exceptional Shabbos. Be well and take these things to heart. Think about them. You've got all weekend to do this. So when you see that what I said is right, you see how you can start changing your life immediately. Be well. God bless.